Hello everyone, welcome to another Top Tips for IELTS video lesson. Today our focus is on complex structures. We will look at what they are, why they are important, and how you can use them in your IELTS exam to increase your band score. Okay, so first thing is, why are they important? And I'm going to show you the marking criteria and band descriptors for IELTS here. So here we have the writing band descriptors. You can see over here we have the different scores, band 6, 7, 8, 9, and at the top we have different marking criteria. There are 4 of them. If we look at grammatical range and accuracy, at band 7 we see uses a variety of complex structures. So to achieve a band score of 7 or above, you need to use a variety of complex structures. And similarly, on the speaking band descriptors, level 7, grammar or grammatical range and accuracy uses a range of complex structures. So for your productive English, your speaking and writing, to get above 7, you need to use a range of complex structures. Okay, second thing, what are they? What does that mean? Well, it doesn't mean that all of your language needs to be very complicated. This is a mistake that people make. They write sentences that sound unnatural because they're overly complicated, and they just don't sound like the sort of language that we produce as native speakers. Complex is simply a label, a name for a sentence that has 2 or more parts, 2 or more clauses. Okay? So a simple sentence has subject, verb, and object. That can also be called a clause. A complex sentence or complex structure puts 2 or more of these together. That's all it means. And you need to use a variety of different complex structures. Today we will look at one particular type, the conditional sentence. So we'll go over this way. Okay, everybody, here we are in my presentation about using conditionals. I'm going to really whiz through the grammar part quickly because hopefully you already are familiar with conditionals. If you're not familiar, if you need more time, you can pause this video and study in more detail, or you can study from your grammar book or whatever resource you need or use for grammar. So we'll whiz through the grammar and then look at how we use it in the exam. Okay, so conditionals explained 0 to second. Very quickly, they have 2 parts. The if clause tells you the condition. Example, if you study hard. The main clause tells you the result. You will pass your exams. So we have 2 parts. If you study hard, you will pass your exams. That's a conditional sentence. That's a complex structure. The order or sequence of the clauses does not change the meaning. So you can see we can change the sequence and it's the same meaning, the same function. The only difference is there is a comma here if we put the if clause first. Okay, so 3 different types. The 0 conditional, for situations that are generally true, like rules and laws. Examples, if I drink too much coffee, I can't sleep at night. Ice melts if you heat it. When the sun goes down, it gets dark. These are laws or rules. And with the structure, The key thing is the verb form. On both sides we have the present simple, if and present simple, and main clause with present simple. You can see here drink, can't, or goes and gets. Okay, next one. The first conditional is used for future situations that are real or possible, not imaginary future, a realistic future. Examples: if it doesn't rain tomorrow, we'll go to the beach. She will win the competition if she plays well. If I have time, I'll call you. So these are real and possible in the future. The difference in structure, well, we still have present simple with our if clause, but on the other side we use will plus infinitive. Here we will go to the beach, she will win, and so on. Okay, last one for today is the second conditional. It's used for present or future situations that are impossible or unlikely. These are imagined or hypothetical situations. Examples: if we had a garden, we would get a dog. Right? We don't have a garden, we don't have a dog. I'm imagining this situation. Classic example: if I won a lot of money, I'd buy a big house in the country, and I wouldn't worry if I were you. The structure here, with the if clause, we use the past simple form, verb to, so had, or won, or were. And on the other side, we use would or could plus the infinitive. So would get a dog, would buy. This I'd is would buy. Okay. As I said, you can watch this again and pause if you want to review these or study them from your grammar book. Now we'll look at how we can put these into our writing and speaking. So, first one, writing part one, we are describing data. So to describe data, we can use this structure. If we look at X, we can see Y. Here is an example of a bar chart, and the sentence is looking at 36 to 50-year-olds in 1990, 2010. We use this structure to create. If we look at the data for 36 to 50-year-olds, we can see a big difference between 1990 and 2010. Here's our big difference. So that's one way you can use a conditional sentence to describe data. And various different kinds of data you're comparing. Remember, in part one, you're comparing and contrasting. So this is quite an easy structure to put into your writing part one. Okay, writing part two. Well, in writing part two, we are often writing about abstract ideas. So these are imagined or hypothetical situations. So we use the second conditional for those imagined or hypothetical situations. And I have three examples I've taken from sample part two tasks. So this one is talking about the government and taxation. We can say if the government increased taxes, they would have more money to spend. In an essay about exercise, the benefits of exercise, we've got if people exercise more often, they would be healthier. And in an essay about cars, traffic and pollution, we've got the if clause is second here. Less people would drive cars if public transport was better. We could switch that. If public transport was better, less people would drive cars. So 3 examples from different part 2 essays that show how you can put a second conditional sentence in there to talk about an imagined situation. Hopefully this demonstrates different kinds of essay, different types of essay you can get those conditional sentences in. Okay, on to speaking now. So part 1, you might get a simple question like this: how often do you go to the cinema? An okay answer is this one: in winter I go about twice a month, but in summer I don't go much. That's still a good sentence. It has 2 parts, but to make it better, to make it more complex, we do it this way. It depends. If the weather is cold or rainy, I go quite often. But if it is sunny, I never go. So here you can see there are 2 conditional sentences. If it's cold, I go quite often. If it's sunny, I never go. So you've got a conditional here, which is complex, and another conditional here. So you're combining 2 complex structures to make a really good answer. Let's look at speaking part 2. That's where you speak on a topic for a long time. You might get this question: describe an interesting place you have visited. Explain why it was so interesting is one of the parts. And you could answer like this: oh, it's an amazing place. If I could live anywhere in the world, I would live there because it's so beautiful and peaceful. Again, you can see our conditional is here, one complex structure, and linked with another clause with because it is so beautiful and peaceful. So we've got 3 clauses making a good complex structure. Our conditional has 2 clauses, and our reason clause with because is at the end. So that's a really good complex sentence. One more example for you. In part 3, we had this question: what can tourists learn from visiting new places? And here we've got a really excellent example of it's a complex structure, but none of the language is that complex. It's just different parts put together to create a complex structure. So again, we start it depends, and here, for example, if they are young people who just want to party, they probably won't learn anything. So that's one conditional sentence. We link it to another using whereas to show contrast. Whereas, if they are older or interested in history, they could learn about the traditions and culture of a place. So we have a long sentence that joins 2 conditionals using whereas. So we have 4 clauses together: the if clause here and the main clause, another if clause and another main clause, creating an excellent complex sentence. Okay, so hopefully that gives you an idea of how you can include complex structures in your speaking and your writing. It doesn't have to be complicated to be complex. It just needs multiple clauses put together. All right. Okay, everybody, that is it for today. I hope that was useful to you. It definitely will increase your band score to include complex structures. We have seen they are in the marking criteria. If you would like more top tips like this one, then please come and join us at fasterenglish.co.uk for an IELTS preparation course, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.